Veganthused. Get Veganthused. Veganthused. Get Veganthused. Vegan food can taste fantastic.
G'day, I'm MC Pony.
And I'm Leigh,
And we're
Veganthused.
Well, thank you, Leigh, for coming back for a third visit to Veganthused.
Yay, it's so much fun.
And that's because we're baking a classic today.
Yep, we're going with Strudel.
Oh, and it's from your new book.
Absolutely, yes, my new book, which is all things pastry and vegan tasty good. We're going to be doing it's going to have lots of savoury and sweet recipes in it for pastry. It's got a lot of gluten-free pastry recipes in it, and the Strudel is kind of the flagship for it. Nice and simple. The title is Wrapped in Pastry, or as anybody who's seen Twin Peaks might recognise it, it's Wrapped in Pastry.
All right, well, let's see you wrap up some cherries in pastry.
Strangely enough, that's what Strudel is. Absolutely. Now, shush.
I'll leave you to it.
Okay, so the first thing that we're going to do with this strudel, now this strudel is a cherry strudel with cashew cream. These cashews, it's a cup of cashews, have been soaking for at least 6 hours, and they're going to be ground up with some maple syrup, some vanilla, and some lemon juice and lemon zest to make a thick cream. Alright, so now we've drained the cashews, and the next bit is what my mother will call industrial noise. So I'm going to place my cashews into a blender bowl, and then we're going to get Mr. Zesty. Mr. Zesty provides zesting services. So we're going to put about a tablespoon's worth of zest, and now these lemons have been washed. So we've got our lemon zest in here. We're also going to get, maple syrup is the best thing on earth. We're going to get about 1/4 of a cup of maple syrup, about a teaspoon of vanilla essence or extract, and finally I'm going to attempt to juice this particularly unjuicy looking lemon. We'll go with a whole lemon. We'll add that. So as you can see, there's not a massive amount of liquid in here. It's still going to be quite a dry, thick cream. And lastly, about 1/4 of a cup, so about a couple of tablespoons or so of water, finally. And now, industrial noise. So this will take a bit. So instead of the wonderful "you can read love letters through it" thin strudel pastry that's historically made with a metric ton of eggs and butter, we're going to be using phyllo pastry. Your friend in this circumstance, but not when you're getting things out of the oven, because you will just burn yourself horribly, is a damp tea towel. So what we're going to do is take our phyllo on our clean bench and unroll it completely, and then we're going to cover it with our damp tea towel. 1/2 cup of melted Nuttall-Eggs. You need to use fat in between the layers of phyllo in order for it to bind and cook properly, and it also produces a layer in between the phyllo sheets so that they become crispy and buttery and all round gorgeous. So we're going to have a roll of a big piece of baking paper, and this big piece of baking paper we're going to leave about 10 centimetres on either end-ish. Roll back your damp tea towel, take a piece of phyllo very gently, see? I don't think I could actually read anything through that, but you know, we pretend. So lay one piece out slightly off centre, take your fabulous pink pastry brush, and very gently, just a little bit of melted Nuttall-Eggs. Then we take our second piece of phyllo and we lay it over so that it's about halfway to 2/3 of the way across. Your filling is mostly going to go in the many layers, and then when you fold over the end bits, you'll actually have strength on the ends as well. So we're going to repeat this until we have 4 layers on either side. So that's another 8 pieces of phyllo. If you're not keen on using that much melted Nuttall-Eggs, you can use vegetable oil, or you can also use something like applesauce, which will have obviously no fat content, but will provide the moisture that you can also have. Now that we've done that, we're going to take our lovely cashew cream. So aim to put this down the centre All right, so we probably won't use all of these cherries because that might be overkill, but we'll use a fair number of them. So the idea with the cherries is that you're going to anchor them in the cream. So you don't really want to go overboard, but it's a cherry strudel, so let's make sure it has cherries. And lastly, because it's all a bit soft and squishy at this point, you want a little bit of crunch. I'm going to get some flaked almonds and put them down the centre. So you've got this beautiful thing, you've got this really delicate pastry. How on earth are you going to make this into a strudel shape? Haha. So you take one side of that, the short end, and you use the baking paper to press down, and then you can pull back, and there's your phyllo. We're going to brush the edges a little bit, just a little bit more. This is just to help them seal a bit. And meanwhile, you've actually set your oven to about 180 degrees Celsius, which is your standard sort of oven temperature for baking, and you're getting ready to put this luscious thing in there. So we're going to grab the long edges of the baking paper and very carefully push that over, and then take the other edge and push it over so it seals, and that's why you've got that Nuddlex or applesauce there. And then I'm going to brush the bottom bit just to seal the edges here, and then flip. And then to complete the smart ass use of baking paper, oopla, and you can just remove the edges so they won't burn when you're baking it. So yes, that goes in the oven now. It's about 180 degrees for 20 to 30 minutes until it's lovely and puffed and golden on the top side. Here's the finished product. So the finishing touch, because there's not enough sugar in there as it is to dust it with some icing sugar. So now I'm going to bravely slice this up and give you an idea of what the insides look like. And there we have cherry and cashew cream strudel. Be the envy of your friends. Consume heartily. So, everything's all sliced up nicely. That was a lovely, simple recipe, so I think it might be taste testing time.
Indeed, I did hear you say consume heartily, and that sounded very much like my cue.
Excellent, excellent. So ho in to the wondrous gooiness.
I did not need to be invited twice.
Oh, though possibly a knife might be helpful.
I'll get there. Let's see if I can make more mess than last episode.
Never. Would you like a room?
This really is fabulous.
Yes.
And I've got European heritage, so strudels just bring up such childhood
They're in
memories.
the blood, huh? So what do you think, other fruit that you would use, or is cherry the place to go?
I do love apricot. And as you said, apricot and almond goes well.
Oh, which I forgot to mention as well, I've used a cashew cream in this recipe, but you could actually do exactly the same thing, but with blanched almonds. Well, I think that I'm going to leave you to that.
Well,
would you like to wrap this up, or are you just going to
yeah.
nom, 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 nom?
I reckon if anybody out there has connections in TV land, you should give Leigh Drew some kind of vegan cooking show.
I will give you strudel. No, seriously.
Payment enough. But for the moment, I'm very glad that you've starred on Veganthused.
As am I.
Veganthused. Get veganthused. Veganthused. Get veganthused. Vegan food can taste fantastic.